Meanwhile, with unemployment on the rise in South Africa, many in the workplace struggle with the workplace bullying. Experts warn that in the digital era, workplace bullying has evolved, extending its reach to online platforms, many social media. What steps can one take in addressing and also dealing with bullying from the workspace? Dr. Linda Meyer, Managing Director at the IIE Rosebank College, joins us live to unpack this further. Dr. Linda, good afternoon and welcome to the SABC. Thanks for your time with us here.
Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Dr. Linda, how does one identify bullying at the workplace, just to set the context?
So the first thing is to identify traditional bullying, which really, systemically we understand that is harsh language or deliberate exclusion from workplace activities, or being excluded from an email, or really being excluded from anything in the workplace like a meeting. But if we look at bullying per se, it is about extended social media harassment or harassment in the workplace when we look at the digital age. So it is setting somebody up to intimidate or humiliate them. And this really is what we see is manifesting itself in the digital age.
Well, gender parity also comes to the fore. And how does this impact on bullying at the workplace as well?
Well, certainly it's one of the ways that somebody could utilize to demean a particular gender or a particular individual. But bullying really can be done by one person or by a group of people. And the intent is to cause deliberate harm to an individual. So certainly when we look at gender-based bullying, that certainly does manifest itself. And this could be where people set up fake media profiles, where they start giving people's names out for sexting, for example, where they create fake profiles, go into somebody's social media and just spread malicious lies or rumors around a particular individual. And this is becoming a lot more prevalent than we might realize in the workplace.
You alluded to earlier on, but the digital era, social media, how does it begin to exacerbate the problem? And also when you're looking at the impact that bullying has on workflow, outputs, and even profits, what's been indicated on that front?
So certainly in terms of the exacerbation in the workplace, really what we see is that people are being isolated, and that this is manifesting, for example, where people are withdrawing from the workplace. So they'll sit in their offices on their own, or they'll go and sit in their vehicles during lunchtime because they're feeling this pressure of being harassed and intimidated and being excluded from the workplace. So really in this digital age, what is happening is that people are using anonymous platforms. So they have this veil which they can hide behind to really orchestrate this attack on people, and they then stand aside. And this is very difficult for people. We've seen people going through tremendous depressive episodes, even committing suicide because of the targets they have on their backs in the workplace, where people are orchestrating their exit from the workplace.
Dr. Linda, what are the most effective ways then that one can address the culture and the issue at hand without having to resign?
Well, certainly, there is a process, and one hopes that in our modern times that people would have strong workplace codes of conduct in place. This is not always the case, and sometimes it doesn't include bullying because people are not updating their policies in modern time. So really what we need to see is strong training programs in the workplace. Companies need to make sure that their policies align to the Labour Relations Act, the workplace labour legislation that is available, but also around the Communication and Transmission Act, that their workers are protected in this. So if you are a victim of this, make sure that you're documenting everything. Make sure that you go on, take screenshots of what you're being subjected to. Talk to someone, make sure that you've got somebody that you can rely on. Remember that the first thing a bully or bullies are going to do is gaslight you. So before you report anything, before you go to the HR department and make a formal case out of this, make sure that you have a very strong documented background for yourself. And then also seek professional help. The South African Depression and Anxiety Line, phone them. If you are able to pay for a psychologist, get that assistance on your side. And always, the CCMA, their call centers are available, or the Department of Employment and Labour have excellent walk-in centers that can give you advice, free advice, to facilitate and assist you around knowing your rights in the workplace.
Dr. Linda, as we wrap up, I just want to look at ways in which employers can also create a more positive environment. How do you also deal with different generations and the way they interact with each other to ensure that transparency and communication occurs as well? Really, what can be done to prevent bullying from the onset?
Well, you raise a very important point about different generations and how things are perceived. So employers need to spend time in, first of all, communicating zero tolerance to any sort of bullying in the workplace. Secondly, to do this training also around cultural and also very much so around generational conduct and how people deal with particular things. So certainly make sure that your policies are in place and that your employees have a safe place in which to raise these issues if they are subjected to any type of bullying in the workplace.
Dr. Linda Meyer, thank you for joining us here on the SABC and for weighing in. We'll leave that conversation there, really just shining a spotlight on workplace bullying, how to identify it, and looking at ways to address the issue at hand.